Back in the building. We back in the building. Y'all already know what to do. Smash that thumbs up, that like button. Ain't gonna hurt your feelings. Ain't gonna do none of that. Y'all already know the vibe. So smash that like button, that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I don't know what y'all waiting on, to be honest. But we got an update on this Diddy case. Just dropped the video yesterday. Go check that out. I told y'all Diddy was ain't gonna get charged with no RICO. They done drop a couple charges. The federales, the prosecutors of the federale case, the RICO case, they dropped a few charges. It's looking good for Diddy. Remember, they supposed to come to verdict. They supposed to come with a verdict Monday, the latest. They said supposed to be tomorrow or Friday. Pardon me, but they say Monday, the latest. So my thing is, now that Diddy might possibly probably beat this case in Kumbaya at the club and probably go off somewhere to a goddamn island somewhere and be laying low for about a year on some Russell Simmons type shit. But I told y'all, somebody just wanted to embarrass him. Somebody just wanted to embarrass his image, his reputation, everything. They wanted to drain some money out of Diddy. They wanted to teach Diddy a lesson. They wanted to teach him like, boy, listen, let's sit you down over there right quick and show you who really the boss over here, who got you at that top. They did. People in the back end. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't got to, I mean, back end people, them. Yeah, them people that, how Diddy got to the top. Yeah, them people. That's all this shit was about. It was about killing his reputation, allegedly, doing him, know what I mean, draining his pockets, having a bad reputation of him being a domestic violence type person, doing his relationship with his girlfriends and stuff like that, showing his personal life of what he's doing in the outside world with the freak-offs and stuff like that, with the escort dude and all that, saying, yo, Diddy was in the corner just looking at me, while Cassie said do A, B, C, and D to her. So they basically showed the world everything that he was doing. This shit was a whole circus. Man, we got to talk about this. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel because it's looking very good for Diddy on his verdict that's coming up. Obviously soon. It's supposed to be tomorrow, supposed to be Friday, or it's supposed to be Monday the latest. Smash that like button. Let's get this show started. Like one up. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Yo, 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 yo. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. We back in the building. Smash that thumbs up. It ain't gonna hurt your feelings. It ain't gonna cost you. That junk is absolutely free. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because I don't know what you're waiting on. You don't even know what you're waiting on, to be honest. You debating. Just smash that subscribe button. Do me that favor. Share the video. Make sure that notification bell on so you know when I'm dropping my video, obviously. And shout out to Team Smoke, shout out to Smoke Gang that got their membership. Make sure you try to grab yours. Shout out to everybody that been supporting the channel. I appreciate that. Let's get this copyright out the way. Copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find that in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here is for absolutely educational and entertainment purpose. Again, copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find it in my description on my channel, on this channel. Everything that I speak on over here absolutely for educational and entertainment purpose. The clips and videos I play also owned by the original creators. So if y'all don't know what's going on, obviously y'all should be knowing what's going on. If some people don't know what's going on, they might be getting out of work right now. So I'm gonna tune you in. This was going on. The feds dropped attempting kidnapping, attempting arson. Remember the arson was with Kid Cudi when they say he threw a what's the name all in his car and shit. Well, allegedly. They say he threw one of them little bomb in the bottles, whatever them shit's called. He threw one of them Jones in his car and blew the car up. With the alleged rumor that Kid Cudi was messing with Cassie and all this, that, and the third. They dropped that. They dropped adding the sex trafficking charge. They dropped that also. Now, what the hell are we looking at in this case now? Y'all see the paperwork all right there on the side, know what I mean? They dropped the main charges. There wasn't no drugs involved, so the drugs is not even in the case because Mr. Paul over here, the white guy, remember the guy that worked for him that was getting paid per hour, and the prosecutors thought that they had a hit. They thought that he was going to go up there and be like, yeah, I was flying over here to get the drugs to the connect. This nigga ain't mentioned no connect. He ain't mentioned nobody. Only thing he was mentioning about, like, yeah, I was cleaning the after party, cleaning after the Freakoffs, and all. Yeah, I was doing this, run for Diddy. That shit sound like making a band. Remember making a band when them niggas was running around doing everything just to try to get a goddamn deal? Y'all remember when them niggas? Shout out to E-Ness. I rock with y'all niggas. Shout out to Freddie P, all y'all niggas, man. But that nigga had y'all cross the bridge of Brooklyn just to go get a goddamn cheesecake. That's what sounded like Paul was doing. Oh, let me pedal back a little bit. Let that marinate in your brain. What he was doing with Mr. Paul over here, that poster helped the case, the white dude took immunity, switched the stand, went up there, switched the whole story, make it seem like he was working for him, like he was running around, like he was making a band type shit, doing all types of runs, cleaning up and everything. He was getting paid per hour. And now you drop these charges? So what was the whole goddamn point of bringing Diddy to the federale case and charging her for a RICO charge? What was the point of this? And I've seen some people in the comments said, I seen before we get to the clip, I seen some people in the comment. I seen somebody in the comment. Not some. Let me take that back. I seen somebody in the comment said, "Nah, Smoke. They got some stuff they can't show to the public and this and that." Let me tell you something for the person that said that. Whatever the jury seen, they had to show everybody in court. So whatever was going on in there, I forgot we had bloggers in there. We had all types of. Nah, man, you had media all in the court. There was people in the court. That shit would have been came out. Some shit that we didn't see in public. Everything that was mentioned in the court was that was seen on video also. Whatever they had on video, pictures and all that, it was absolutely seen in court during the trial. And we got proof of that because we got people, media, bloggers, and all that. They was front. I mean, shout out to all the bloggers that was doing their homework in front of the building every day. And they would have gave us the information that we needed. We already got all the information, the pictures, the baby oil, all this little BS they was talking about. What was the drugs in the baby oil? None of that. That shit was all narrative and lies. Where was the liquid drug that was in the baby oil allegedly? When you put it on, you start bugging out or you get more high, whatever, and you forget what the hell happened. Where was that at? Where was the test to test the baby oil and it coming back as some type of liquid drug inside the baby oil? Where was that at? See, now we talking RICO. That's RICO charges. That's some crazy shit you supposed to not be doing. But they didn't bring that up. They wasted everybody goddamn time with this case. I swear, everybody thought this was gonna be the case of the year. Yeah, they got Diddy. We about to find out a whole bunch of things. That shit backfired. We sitting back waiting for the spicy shit, waiting for the excitement of the. I ain't gonna say the excitement. I'm gonna say the shit that we've been hearing about with the raid, the drug and the baby oil, all these pills, and he got a connect and all this. Remember all them narrative, all them stories in the beginning when they first raided Diddy house? Let's not forget about that. Remember the tunnels? Yeah, Diddy had a tunnel. He was trafficking mad little girls under there. Remember all that allegedly. Remember all that shit they were saying in the beginning of the raid, the beginning of the case. Where the hell's the tunnels at? Where's the little extra room in the tunnel that they said that there was a couple rooms in the tunnel when you go all the way down to the end and you go into another house or a mansion? Where's that shit at? Where's the witness that been in them tunnels, that been in them little crazy rooms and all that? Where are they at? Where the celebrities at? They waste our goddamn time. This whole time we sitting here thinking it. I knew this shit was gonna be BS once they started with the domestic violence shit. Once they started with, oh yeah, Cassie got up there, whatever, explained her relationship, it was toxic, this, that, and the third. Once they started that shit, I already knew this shit was some BS. I already knew it. I said you don't start off with a RICO case like that. You start off, you put that at the end. You put that at the ice in the cake to make the juries feel like, oh man, he's a horrible person. He's a monster to his girlfriends, and this and that. He put his hand. You put that towards the end of the trial, not the beginning. You want to give the people the criminal shit in the beginning, then throw that little sad shit at the end with the toxic relationships and all this shit that they was giving us. Man, let's get to the clip. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, like one up. Shout out to TMZ, shout out to Giddy P, man, Giddy P. Copyright fair use is definitely in effect, man. Pete what Harvey had to say from the TMZ.
Big deal in the Diddy case. The prosecutors have folded, dropped key elements of the racketeering charge, and it's shocking. So they sent a letter to the judge saying that they will no longer pursue kidnapping, attempted arson and aiding and abetting sex trafficking charges in connection with the jury instructions and the charge of racketeering and sex trafficking. So let's break it down. Arson, my God. I mean, they spent so much time talking about the Kid Cudi fire, where a Molotov cocktail was thrown in his car. They say it was in a fit of jealousy, where Diddy ordered his people to do that. This was a big deal. Kid Cudi testified. They talked about it in opening statements. This was a centerpiece of the racketeering charge that prosecutors wanted to make. Now they're saying, in an effort to streamline the jury instructions, they're not going to raise the attempted arson issue as an element of racketeering.
Now we're gonna continue. We got like 3 more clips for Harvey talking. Now we remember they spent their whole goddamn time with the Kid Cudi shit, all this. Yeah, he had somebody throw a cocktail on there, whatever. Now I mean, blew the shit up, and they allegedly they supposed to have robbed Cudi house, took some items in there, whatever, whatever. They wasted their time with that shit also, because they done dropped the charge on that. That's one of the charges they dropped. That's part of the racketeering. That's part of the RICO. So what was the point of this? That's my question to y'all. My question to everybody. My answer to that. It was to embarrass his character, embarrass his reputation, ruin his reputation, show his private life to ruin more reputation of him. That's all this shit was about. And drain his endorsements, drain his money. You know how much money Diddy lost off this shit? Now, Diddy still got some side businesses and all that on his own. Don't get it twisted. But as far as partnership, the big boys, the Cirocs and all that shit, and man, he lost so much money doing these last since he been in jail. It's ridiculous, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. And who's that next? Who's the next nigga rising? Why Diddy going through all this shit? I sit back and wait. I'm gonna give y'all a few seconds. Let me repeat myself. Who's the next person that's rising to them ranks where Diddy was at once upon a time and controlling everything in hip hop? It's Jay-Z. Rock Nation. I mean, they controlling a lot of shit. Allegedly makes me think that is Jay's a possibility he could play a role in this shit. Allegedly. Because y'all gotta understand, we all know you gotta play chess. There only could be one king and one king only, especially in New York. And that one king in New York that opened a lot of doors for people in New York and other ventures and other cities also because of the reputation and the money that this dude was making for them big billionaires. Diddy, he opened the doors for a lot of people, and Jay-Z is one of them. Let's not sit back and act like Jay-Z wasn't one of them. There's old videos and yeah, Diddy my man, and Diddy showed me the bit. Diddy was one of the niggas that connected Jay-Z to a lot of people, and one of the niggas that showed Jay-Z the business ropes when you start going up there, when you start leveling up, going through them little doors, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Cause y'all gotta remember, what y'all gonna say? Yo, Dame Dash. Dame Dash wasn't the one. Remember, they kicked Dame out. They didn't want Dame in that in that world that they from. They didn't want Dame Dash because he's too much of a loudmouth. They want somebody that could control, allegedly. If you want to make them type of money and be in that type of level and take that type of chair and seat, yeah, you got to curve some people. And Dame Dash was one of them. So who was the next person up that was already in that world? It was Diddy that been in that world for several years already. So he gonna grab Jay-Z hand, pause, and show him around and educate him what's going on up here. That part. So when you get schooled by the dude that schooled you a little bit about what's going on where you at, Jay, who was with to say you ain't want to kick him out of that world also? Now you want to take control of everything because Diddy probably was in the way of a lot of businesses that you wanted to do. So who's with to say Rock Nation, Jay-Z, allegedly, and everything I speak on is alleged, they ain't probably played a role in this? Now I'll smoke you, bugging you, reach, this and that. I ain't reaching. When you want to go up top and you got some competition that's in your way, sometimes you got to knock them competitions down. This is business. Same thing 50 Cent be saying. What are we talking about? I think 50 and Jay don't never get along. That part. So you think Diddy and Jay got along? They got along for a couple of years. But after a while, Jay want that spot, man. Trying to curve you out of here. Let's continue with Harvey, though. Shout out to TMZ Harvey now. He gonna break it down even more. Now remember, they dropped the arson. They dropped the arson in charge and everything else. That's part of the RICO that's supposed to smoke Diddy out his boots, give him about 20 years or better, and they dropped them charges. Nasty work.
They're not going to raise the attempted arson issue as an element of racketeering. It seems to me the reason they're doing this is they were never able to tie Diddy to that Molotov cocktail. They knew it blew up. Yeah, you could kind of insinuate it must have been him, especially because he had allegedly burglarized his house earlier. But there was no evidence proving and linking him to the arson. So that's off the table. Kidnapping. Remember, Jane was supposedly kidnapped at the London Hotel in West Hollywood by Diddy. Capricorn was supposedly kidnapped at a warehouse where she was given numerous lie detector tests after suspecting she stole Diddy's jewelry. Well, kidnapping is now off the table as well. As for aiding and abetting sex trafficking, it's unclear exactly what elements they are trying to eliminate here. There will still be sex trafficking charges against Diddy, but
Let's continue.
at least a portion of aiding and abetting. And frankly, my guess is, and this is just a guess, things like his assistants booking hotel rooms, things like that, that's not criminal. And it seems to me that elements like that just don't cut it. Now, the prosecution is saying that they do want the jury to hear that just because a woman gives consent to a sexual act at one period, that doesn't mean later on she can't withdraw that consent. This clearly goes to a core piece of the defense's case, which is that Cassie and Jane consented. There are text messages showing that, but not in every case. And prosecutors want the jury to hear specifically that it doesn't matter if they gave consent once, it could be withdrawn at a later time.
Now y'all heard that, right? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Do me that favor. Share the video also. Smash that like button. That junk is free. Ain't gonna hurt your feelings. Ain't gonna cost you. Now, remember the little sex trafficking thing they was talking about, and you can't get charged with criminal if you got employees booking hotels for you. They played this whole shit wrong. Let me tell y'all something. Before we get to this last clip of Harvey, I told y'all this from the beginning of the time when they locked Diddy up, when he went to court and all this, and then we seen Cassie, whatever, take the stand. She was the first one to take the stand. She was the first witness. Once I seen her just talking about her relationship, how toxic, and Diddy allegedly put hands and feet on her so many times, and she played the innocent role. That's a whole nother story. I done broke that down. Go check the old videos down. But my point is, they made a mistake by putting her first. They should have let her have birth. She was able to come back on the stand about 2 weeks, whatever, because this trial was going on for a while. She could have took the stand last. And then, like I said, that was his kumbaya, shoulder to shoulder, little wifey, little main wifey on the side, me and Diddy. She know all the criminal allegedly activity that was going on, according to a lot of people, according to like Big Gene and everybody else, according to the people that said that in the beginning of this case. She witnessed all that. She seen all that for several years. If it was some type of criminal activities going on. But see, they messed up. They get her immunity. They didn't want her to go up there and talk about it because they knew Diddy lawyers was gonna come back and fire at her and be like, well, you were side by side one for all that shit. That would have made her look bad. Plus, she probably allegedly was involved in some criminal shit that was going on also. bringing other females to the party, bringing. Come on, what are we talking about here? Escort people from other states to the party, females and all that. That's her work. The pretty face gonna bring other pretty face to the party. Am I lying? I sit back and wait on that. Pretty face like Cass. They're like, yeah, come on, come back with us. They all hammered up. They drunk. They wine champagned out. You think the other pretty face ain't gonna come back with her? Now, say allegedly there was some activity going on without the other pretty face not participating, not agreeing with, they didn't want to be involved, but they were scared, so they just choose to do it because there's what old girl, the other pretty face that brought them to the party, Cassie. What are we talking about here? That's criminal activities also. So she's involved with Diddy also, allegedly, if there was some type of criminal activities going on like that with drugs and bringing other females to the party without them not knowing what the hell was going to happen at the end of the party. You forcing people to do that. That's criminal. That's like that. It's the grape. We're gonna say grape because you can't use the word with the R. Y'all already know the vibe. So basically, you bringing females, giving them drugs, allegedly. You a pretty face, bring another pretty face right with you. What that make her? A co-conspirator, right? If I am mistaken, that's what that mean, right? She's part of this case also with Diddy. But no, see, she took immunity. And they want her to switch it over and thought that the jury was gonna buy and have a sad story with the domestic violence and all of that. She had a toxic relationship with Diddy. The juries don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear what you came here for, and that's Rico. They want to hear the spicy shit, the criminal shit. Not the private life, not the shit that's going on between y'all two. They messed this whole case up, man. That's why I said, what was the reason for them even doing it? They don't waste their goddamn time with this. Smash the like, man. Y'all already know the vibes.
All right. What I don't know from this letter is whether the judge is going to specifically tell the jury you should no longer think about the Kid Cudi testimony with respect to arson or the testimony of Jane and Capricorn Smith in connection to kidnapping. It won't be in the jury instruction that they can consider that, but if the judge doesn't say something, jurors might just mention it during deliberation. So it's unclear whether the judge is going to underscore things by mentioning it to the jury. So this is a big development. And even though the letter is cast as streamlining jury instructions, this is more than streamlining. It's an acknowledgement that in those, I believe, critical elements of the case, the prosecution believes they just didn't bring it home.
Prosecutors didn't bring the Rico home. The people that wanted Diddy to go down for the RICO charge, they didn't hit a home run. They didn't bring it home. They effed the whole case up. They could have took this man to the state, man, to the state case, like I said, and they would have possibility would have got a verdict on that, or he would have had to cop out. But see, they got greedy. They want to take him to the federale and thought they was going to smoke his boots, which they didn't even had a case building up on him on no criminal charges. Where was Big Gene? Where all these other niggas? Shout out to Big Gene. No, listen, respectfully, no disrespect to Big Gene. Gene did. But you know all the criminal activities and shit. Why they didn't bring you to the goddamn stand? Didn't you say in your own channel? Yeah, if they call me, yeah, I'll go up there and testify. You said that out your own mouth, Gene. Let's get to that part. And I sit back and wait on that. I sit back and wait. You said that in your own channel in your live. That if they call you for some criminal shit, you will go up there and talk. Why they ain't call you though? And why they didn't call nobody else that accused Diddy of doing any, well, accused of Diddy doing all these criminal charges they accuse him of him doing? Why nobody else ain't take the stand? It was a waste of goddamn time. That's why, because they got greedy. They didn't have nothing on it. The only thing they had was domestic shit from the camera in the hotel. When Diddy was putting his hands and feet on Cassie, when you see him running chasing her, that's the only shit they had. And the raid with the baby oil, and then they threw a narrative out there that the baby oil supposed to be drugged up with liquid drugs and all this. Where's the deal? What's the test coming back for that? See, that's all criminal right there. Why y'all ain't go test it? Like, because you know why they? You know why? Because they did test that shit, 100 something bottles, and probably wasn't no drugs in that shit. That's what happened, y'all. They test everything in Diddy house. Ain't none of that shit come back as liquid drugs or drug somebody up and have them out this world like the narrative they threw out there in the beginning of this goddamn case. And I ain't defending a homie as far as his hands and feet on putting on a female. But let's be serious here. Y'all done gassed us up thinking this man was doing all types of criminal shit. Y'all gassed up the hip hop community. Y'all gassed up the world. And y'all gassed up the goddamn internet thinking that this man was doing all these little crazy ass monster tactics and shit and routines on people with the drug liquid on baby oil, and none of this shit ain't come to court. They should be ashamed of the goddamn stuff. I'm being honest. Let's get to this last clip, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. So y'all telling us in the beginning of the narrative with the drugs and the liquid and all this and the baby oil and the champagne getting spiced and all this. Remember, allegedly, this is what they was telling us. Champagne getting spiced, Ciroc supposed to be getting spiced and all this shit. None of this shit appeared in court. None of this and they didn't present none of this in court with no proof. They gassed everybody up. That's all they did. Gassed us up thinking this man was on, it was out of goddamn control. In all reality, he was just doing some freak off private life shit that he liked to do in his private time. Y'all gotta be kidding me, man. Let's continue. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
So you have to really be able to separate the fairy tale from what factually happened. Where are all the celebrity freak-off tapes? Where is J-Lo in a room with an underage person? And where are all these salacious things? Meek Mill, French Montana. Where are all these, we thought there were videos of Diddy having his way with other men and blackmailing them. Where are these videos? And he didn't spike the oil. You know, I think we all thought that you put on the oil unknowing that it's spiked with GHP, and then you go into this euphoric state and you do anything he says, and that would be against your will. But all the testimony we've heard is people taking the drugs willingly and knowingly. So it's interesting, just the baby oil alone we were lied to about.
And she's like, it's all over social media. She says, you haven't heard it? And I said, no, I didn't hear it. And she played audio for me. And it absolutely is not something that is a part of the trial, and it's not real, but it shows you how people have created their own narratives. And if you are not completely locked in from what's real and what's not, he is actually at this moment being penalized for domestic, which is unacceptable. Of course, we're not making any excuses for domestic violence, but for the domestic as well as rumors.
So you have.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I'm going to ask y'all one more question. He getting punished for the domestic shit. He's getting punished also, which I'm going to throw out there, allegedly. And y'all can put two and two together like I've been saying. He's getting punished for running his mouth too goddamn much on them interviews. If people that been watching my videos that understand what I'm saying, I ain't saying this shit in a professional way. I'm saying it in the best way I can say it to y'all. He's getting punished for running his mouth in them goddamn interviews, accusing the people that was paying him, that put him in the position that he was at, all types of crazy ass shit that he was saying about them, because they didn't want to push his liquor on the front line and other certain adventures and business that he had with them, I guess. Because they not the only people. This nigga been pissed off a lot of people, obviously, meaning Diddy. Diddy got too overwhelmed over himself. He started thinking he was bigger than a program that put him in the position that he was at. No, nigga, you start talking like that when you separate yourself from them people and you be like, all right, all business is done. Let me start doing my own goddamn thing. That's when you start wanting to start talking a little crazy and do what you want to do, because now you're running your own program. But when you're doing business and they paying you 60, 70, close to $100 million a year to promote Ciroc. Lord knows, like, come on, bro, that's crazy. That's crazy money right there. Then you go run your mouth and start talking crazy about them people that's more powerful than you. Let me pedal back again. Let that marinate in your brains. You start talking crazy about people that put you in that position and that's more powerful than you, meaning Diddy. Those are the two reasons why. That's one of, man, listen, that's the reason why he's going through this embarrassment and all this shit that they doing and draining his pockets. This shit ain't got nothing to do with criminal activities because they had no proof of it. The spike baby oil, all that shit, the connect, the drug mule, the connect he was getting his drugs from, none of this shit was presented in court. None of it. White boy Paul never gave us the big connect who did he allegedly, none of this. None of this. No videos of other celebrities doing crazy shit that we heard about. The A-list, where the A-list at? Where's the A-list at? Where's the videos? And I'm gonna throw this in the air, allegedly, and everything I speak on is alleged. I'm gonna throw this in the air. I think, and this is my opinion, I think if there was a video of them A-list people that was doing some bugged out shit during their private time and private party life with Diddy, and there's some criminal shit going on allegedly in them videos, I think them people in them A-list videos and on that paper, like I told you in the beginning of these videos, Diddy not stupid. That nigga had people sign them NDAs. He had people sign them shits. Once you put your signature in there, boom, nigga, you already know what you involved in. You know what you walking yourself into. You know what you that nigga had a paper where everybody got their signature to make sure they know what they walking into. That's the reason they didn't present the videos, man. Allegedly. They was videos out there, believe me. I'm there, listen, because that narrative not gonna be out there for no reason. And plus, you living in a mansion house. All these mansions got cameras. These celebrity niggas like Diddy got cameras in their house and the outside. And we know that. My opinion, allegedly, they told them people, man, y'all better back the hell up because there's too many people on them goddamn tapes, bro. We can't let this shit hit the internet and hit the media and all this. So what we gonna do is drop this little RICO charges, the sex trafficking and all this shit. That's what we're gonna do. Because there's too much powerful shit on them videotapes, allegedly. So before that shit even hit the courts and anything, because I gotta remember powerful people got powerful connects. I'ma sit back and wait on that. Powerful people got powerful connects. So when something actually could just destroy these people, that's powerful. What you think they're gonna do? They might be like, you know what, we're gonna work with Diddy. This nigga got too much shit, and plus we already knew we was walking into because this nigga got our signatures and everything on the papers. Now some people might be like, nah, smoke. Think about what I'm saying. It's a black billionaire. This Diddy what he talking about. This nigga not no dumb nigga. Even Big Gene say he's not no dumb nigga. Diddy is very educated. He's not a stupid dude. So before he was going down, he gonna make sure everybody else go down with him, or make sure everybody else knew what the hell they was walking into in them parties. If there was some criminal shit going on in them parties, that's what the hell was going on here. They don't want them A-list people or names. I'm gonna say the names. They don't want that shit to be even mentioned in the court or out there. We only got a few names. Remember, we only got like 1, 2, 3. I think we got but the main names, we haven't got no proof of that. The J-Los and all this shit. It's a lot going on here, allegedly, that they don't want out there. That's why they backing up, taking a couple few steps back, and they like, you know what? Drop the RICO charge, because we really ain't got nothing. That's what's going on. That's exactly what's going on here, allegedly. That's exactly what's going on. Them tapes allegedly exist. Them shits ain't disappeared. No. I think it's some tapes and it's paper with people's signature, powerful people's signatures on there, knowing that they walking into these activities. Think about that. Think about that. Because when you want to take down a person like that with a RICO charge, prosecutor trying to get that name, everybody want to get that name. Yeah, I was the person that took down P. Diddy, gave him 20 years. They want that spotlight. It brings more money. It gives them more opportunities in their careers, especially in that system that they in, the law system. So every prosecutor gonna want to take down a billionaire and a mogul and a big name like Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy. That's what tells me they got a phone call and they told them back the hell up and yeah, because there's too much going on in them tapes allegedly, or there's too much going on that we don't know about. So for the person that said that the public and the court or the court might know something that the public, that the media don't know about, or and only the court people or the prosecution know about. But there's some powerful connects that's actually hitting them up and letting them know not to present that shit in court because that's gonna do a lot of damage to a lot of people. I could believe that right there. I could definitely believe that. That's like a 95% chance that possibly that shit probably happened. Because people don't got time to explain themselves, especially powerful people. So what they do, they go the easy way. Y'all call it, make a couple phone calls, and tell them niggas fall back on that. Drop that RICO charge. We already did enough to embarrass this nigga. We good. That's exactly what they did, and that's exactly what they doing. So as far as the verdict, before I get out of here, I want to hear y'all opinion and hear y'all thoughts on this. Do y'all think them videotapes exist? Do y'all think them videotapes really out there? With the narrative and the rumor that we heard, the allegations that we heard about some A-list people all in them videotapes doing some bugged out shit allegedly. Do y'all believe that? I kind of believe it, but I think they just shoved it, locked it up, put it in a lock, and make sure that shit don't go out to the public. That's what I think, allegedly, and everything I speak on is alleged. But y'all might think otherwise. But to be continued, man. On to the next video. We're gonna find out what the verdict is by Monday, the latest. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see if Diddy gonna actually beat the rest of the other charges because they already dropped the main charge that supposed to smoke him out his boots, and that's part of the RICO charge. They already dropped that. Think about it, y'all. Some strange shit going on. But I'm up out of here. Till then, y'all already know the vibes. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Make sure y'all keep that notification bell on so y'all know when I'm dropping. On to the next video, man. We up out of here, man. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. Salute, gang. I'm out of here.